How's it going, everybody? Too Spooky here, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most iconic villains in anime, and my personal favorite villain from the Dragon Ball franchise. Today, we are going to be counting down 10 facts about Cell. This video was suggested by Asian Kid 512 and Jalal, Raku, and Kakashi. I must say, I'm honestly surprised that this video was barely suggested considering how popular Cell is. But at the same time, I've only made one video about Dragon Ball Z, so I guess it makes sense that it wasn't suggested very much to me at least. But anyways, thank you both so much for the suggestion, and I hope you both enjoy because this one is going out to you. But anyways, without further ado, let's just Kamehameha right into it, shall we? Number 1. For such an iconic villain in the Dragon Ball franchise, it's pretty interesting to note that he originally wasn't even supposed to exist. And the only reason that Cell does exist is thanks to Toriyama's former editor, Torishima. When the Android saga first began, the idea of Cell was completely non-existent, and Android 19 and 20 were supposed to be the main villains of that saga and the future sagas to come. However, Torishima was not a fan of Android 19 and 20 at all, and made it a point to express his dissatisfaction to Toriyama. So after Toriyama and Torishima had a little conversation, Android 17 and 18 were created to take the place of Android 19 and 20 as the main villains of the upcoming sagas. But once again, Torishima was not a fan of these two either, calling them a couple of brats among other things. So finally, Toriyama decided to create Cell, which finally earned Torishima's seal of approval. So if it wasn't for complaints by Torishima, one of the most iconic anime villains and my personal favorite from Dragon Ball Z would have never existed, and Android 17 and 18 never would have existed either. Number 2. Believe it or not, when it comes to Cell, the editorial complaints didn't stop with Torishima, because Toriyama's current editor at the time, Yu Kondo, may not have had a vocal opinion about the other androids, but he did have a few problems with Cell himself. You see, originally, Cell wasn't supposed to be able to transform, but Yu Kondo was not a big fan of Cell's first form, thinking its insect-like appearance was very ugly. So because of that, Cell was given the ability to transform. And after that, Toriyama kinda sped up the process of Cell's transformation to his second form. Now, if you recall, Cell wasn't in his second form for very long at all. And the reason for this is because Yu Kondo thought that Cell's second form was just goofy looking, and wanted Toriyama to get to Cell's perfect form as soon as possible, which he did shortly after. Although originally, Cell's second form was supposed to play a much bigger role in the story before he finally transformed into his perfect form later on. But due to Yu Kondo disliking the second form, Toriyama was forced to transform Cell yet again quicker than he wanted to. And honestly, I kinda feel bad for Toriyama in this case, because Cell's second form is actually Toriyama's favorite android, and it really sucks that he had to cast him aside so quickly. Number 3. Toriyama really disliked drawing Cell, which could be one of the reasons that Cell never ended up returning like numerous other villains. Frieza. But the reason Toriyama didn't like drawing Cell very much was due to the little black spots that are all over his body in all 3 forms. To keep the character design of Cell consistent, he had to make sure that each of these spots were in the correct spot every single time that he drew Cell, which Toriyama claimed was very tough and tedious to do. Number 4. When it came to the conception of Cell, it looks like Toriyama had a general idea in mind, but he wasn't 100% sure what he was looking for right off the bat. From what we can see in this concept art of what would become Cell, we can definitely see some things that are present in Cell's final designs and forms, but we can also see some things that never made it over to any of Cell's forms. For instance, some of these concepts do not have any of those black spots Toriyama hated drawing, so maybe at first he wasn't planning on adding them or was just considering it, or the black spots were planned all along and he just didn't include them in every concept. You can also see in a few of these concepts that Cell's head was going to be shaped differently. Some are much more rounded without those points, and some of them even show his head being completely flat looking. And there's also one concept over there on the right where Cell could have had hair? Maybe originally, because Cell has Saiyan DNA within his body, he could have possibly became a Super Saiyan. Man, that would have been weird. Anyway, it's just always really cool to see what these characters could have become. Number 5. Cell ended up killing future Trunks twice in one way or another. The first time was in the future, when Cell killed Trunks and stole his time machine, which was of course in a separate timeline. And then the second time was when Cell killed Trunks during the Cell games. But what I find most interesting about this is that Trunks ended up killing Cell twice as well. Trunks and Krillin killed Cell while he was still in his larva stages in what I'll call the main timeline, and then Trunks went back to his own timeline and killed the Cell from that timeline as well. So I guess what goes around comes around. Number 6. A lot of people like to point out that Cell has similar personality traits to those whose DNA he has within him. Mainly how each of Cell's forms maintain a specific trait reminiscent of different characters whose DNA he has within him. For instance, Imperfect Cell is sneaky and intelligent like Piccolo. His semi-perfect form is very arrogant like Vegeta. His perfect form is very laid back and has a little obsession with fighting people like Goku, and so on. Now, in an interview with Toriyama, he hinted at the fact that Cell's way of taking over the world with fear and treating it like a game could be because of King Piccolo, who did things in a similar manner. Now, this would make sense, because Piccolo is the offspring or reincarnation of King Piccolo, depending on how you want to look at it. And therefore King Piccolo's cells would be in Piccolo himself. And because Piccolo's DNA is in Cell, that would mean that the influence of King Piccolo could very well be the reason why Cell went about things the way he did. Number 7. Although Cell changed quite a bit in appearance through each of his transformations, there was one specific spot on Cell that remained the same appearance-wise in each transformation, which was that black shape in the center of his chest, which is present and identical in each of his adult transformations. And this could be the result of Frieza's DNA, because Frieza just happened to also have a similar shape in the center of his chest that remained the same through each of his different transformations as well. Number 8. In both the anime and the manga, Cell creates a total of 7 Cell Juniors. But then in the anime, Gohan is seen killing a total of 8 Cell Juniors, even though there were only 7 of them created. In addition to that, there are also a few other anime-only occurrences involving the Cell Jr. For instance, in the anime, Cell basically said that each of the Cell Jr. are just as powerful as himself, except they aren't as durable, when this was never said in the manga. And the Cell Jr. also used the Tri-Beam attack in the anime, which shouldn't be possible because not only did Cell never use this attack himself, but Cell didn't even have TN cells in his body. However, Cell did apparently have TN cells in his body in the anime, which never occurred in the manga. Number 9. Back in 2004, a character popularity poll was held for the upcoming book Dragon Ball Forever. And in this popularity poll, Cell was ranked the 14th most popular character in the entire series. And if that's not interesting enough for you, Cell is approximately 7 feet tall or 213 centimeters tall while in his perfect form. And the moment that you've all been waiting for... Number 10. There's actually a pretty big plot hole regarding Cell in the manga and the Japanese anime. In the manga, after Cell self-destructs, he regenerates his entire body and explains how he was able to do so, which was due to a small lump of cells that resides inside his head. Cell explains that as long as this lump isn't destroyed, he is able to continuously regenerate any part of his body. And fortunately for Cell, this lump was not destroyed when he self-destructed. Now, the plot hole regarding this lump brings us back a few chapters to when Cell was fighting Goku. There was one instance where Goku used a full power Kamehameha to completely blow off the top section of Cell's body, with his entire head included. So because his head was completely blown off, Cell shouldn't have been able to regenerate, because if his head was completely destroyed, that lump should have also been destroyed. And when he did regenerate, he did so from the remaining parts of his body, instead of regenerating an entirely new body from the lump, like he did after self-destructing. So case in point, we have a plot hole. This plot hole was also fixed in the English anime, when Cell explained that every cell in his body is a life of its own, and as long as one cell remains, he could regenerate his whole body once again, which makes a lot more sense if you ask me. And in Dragon Ball Z Kai, the part where Cell's head was blown off the first time was just removed completely. But there you have it, everybody, 10 facts about Cell from Dragon Ball Z. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and hopefully you learned something new. If you did, make sure to leave a like. But that's not all. If you leave a like on this video, there is a 0.00078% chance that you will gain the ability to perform the Kamehameha. The chances may be slim, but if you are one of the lucky few, all you need to do is scream it at the top of your lungs while in the correct stance, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to fire one of those babies off. Also, make sure to comment down below which Dragon Ball Z character you guys want to learn about next, and make sure to subscribe so you can be notified when those videos come out. I definitely plan on getting to some more Dragon Ball characters over time, so I'd love to know which ones you guys want to see first.
Also, make sure to like and follow Too Spooky on any of his social media. You can find those links in the description.
Hey, thanks, Carl. Anyways, will you go wake up Tally already? If we don't hurry, we'll be late. This is the most important day of the year, after all.
That lazy piece of cotton isn't up yet. Okay, I'll go get him. Yo, Towley, time to get up, dude. We really need to get moving or we're gonna be late.
Late for what exactly?
Towley, this isn't the time for jokes. Now come on, get out of bed.
No, I'm serious. What the hell is so important about today? I just don't get it.
Towley, it's Walmart Day.
What the fuck is Walmart Day?
You can't be serious. You honestly don't know what Walmart Day is?
No, I've never heard of it. But to be honest, it sounds pretty fucking stupid.
Huh. That sounds exactly like something Bane would say.
What do you mean?
Never mind. Here, let me just put in this little informational Walmart Day DVD so you can understand.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
Welcome to the Filthy Frank Show. If you're feeling suicidal, you've come to the right place. Because I want to fucking kill myself as well.
There's a lot of previews.
I always hated how these DVDs wouldn't let you skip right to the menu.
Sideways for
You mind if I get a little high?
Towley, this is not the time to get high, okay?
Yeah, okay.